Hello, my name is Chris and this is Writing Delight. Today I'm talking about a fountain pen that immediately stands out and comes from a brand that hardly anyone knows yet. But more about that later. This is the black Forest Pen ROMBUS and I have it here in two versions. One is made of bronze and the other of stainless steel. The fountain pen is delivered in a sturdy cardboard box. The logo is neatly lasered into it and the contents can be pulled out sideways. And it's clear at first glance that the Rhombus is something special. Because here we have a skeletonized fountain pen, that is, a pen with an openwork barrel. The Rhombus is a fountain pen with a very straightforward design. The barrel and cap have the same diameter and the shape is otherwise simple. At the end of the cap we have the large lettering Black Forest Pen and Made in Germany. The Black Forest Pen logo is embedded on the finial. The finely crafted clip is not only an option, it's also held by two special screws. And despite its delicacy, it's extremely stable. When you unscrew the fountain pen, you'll find a metal grip section and a simple nib. There's a clever detail at the barrel end, a small screw-on cap. This gives us good access to the converter, which is screwed in and therefore holds well. This makes the pen easy to fill with ink. The Rhombus is available in numerous variants. You can choose between aluminium, bronze, stainless steel, brass or titanium. The clip is optional, with or without, according to taste. The nib is available in fine, medium and broad, optionally in silver or gold plated. Let's take a look at the details. Here we see the milled openings. The feel is wonderfully smooth. These very fine traces of machining are only visible under the microscope and can't normally be felt. Here's a fine clip with the special screws. The Schmidt nib. And of course the Black Forest Pen lettering with the Made in Germany indication of origin. The fountain pen is easy to hold, even with my large hands, but it's a tight fit. The pen, especially in the bronze version, is a bit heavier, but it fits comfortably in the hand. The cap cannot be posted. Let's take a look at the writing experience. The fine nib writes very pleasantly, with a fine feedback that is noticeable but not scratchy. The nib is also capable of some line variants, but that requires a little pressure. The ink here, Jean Rouge Grenat. I really like the way it writes with a fine nib. Incidentally, it writes just as pleasantly with the platinum aqua blue ink, which is filled into the stainless steel version. Here you can see both versions in direct comparison. The only differences are in the material, but you can clearly see which parts can be unscrewed in everyday use. What do you think? Do you like a skeletonized fountain pen like this? And what do you think of the idea of a small cap for accessing the converter? But let's move on to the size comparison. I have the pen here with a Visconti Homo sapiens, a Platinum Plaisir, an Online Bohemian Art, a Kaweco Collection in AL Sport format, and a Lamy Safari. The Rhombus is in a good midfield position here. It's shorter than a normal length fountain pen, but a little longer than the Kaweco and Online. Only the cap cannot be posted. Here are the technical data of the bronze version. The weight differs of course, depending on the material and the choice of clip. You can also find this data in the video description below. In second comparison, I have a Staedtler Initium Resina, a Cross ATX, a Diplomat Nexus, a Pelikan P205, and a Diplomat Elox Matrix. I didn't even know Black Forest Pen existed until the beginning of the year, which is no wonder. The company has mainly produced unusual ballpoint pens up to now. They had a stand at the German Pen Fest in Hamburg at the beginning of the year, and I'm not sure whether it was the first appearance of the fountain pens or just one of the first. But they immediately caught my eye. Well-made fountain pens, and of course the Rhombus, a skeletonized fountain pen. So the brand is an absolute newcomer to the fountain pen segment. But in my opinion, they have made a convincing entry. Because I can absolutely recommend this fountain pen. I couldn't leave the Pen Fest without buying this fountain pen. What you get here is not a mass-produced item. The fountain pens are made with great attention to detail. You can see and feel it. The fine machining marks can only be seen under a microscope. You can't feel them. On the contrary, the surface feels really high quality. The variety is also impressive. Material options, clip choices, nib thicknesses. All this lets you create your own individual model. And if you're on a budget, you can still find a suitable version. You can just tell that someone paid attention to the details here. Not only with the special screws, which were probably custom made, even the thread of the cap runs wonderfully smoothly. And the idea of a small access to the converter is really clever. As far as I know, the metals, especially brass, are sealed by the way, so they should neither tarnish nor smell unpleasant. Optionally, there's also a tool for opening the screws, but that's not necessary. I was really impressed by the Rhombus. Well thought out, high quality and a real eye-catcher. One small point of criticism is the Smith standard nib, but that's understandable for a young brand. And who knows, maybe there will be their own nibs in the future. In any case, the fountain pen writes well with this nib. You can't go wrong with it. Of course, it's a slightly shorter fountain pen, but for me it still fits well in the hand. I have no problems here for longer texts. The grip section isn't huge, but it's enough for my fingers to fit well. The fountain pen is also robust regardless of the version. Incidentally, the Rhombus is also available as a compact minimo version. Even shorter, the cap can be posted, but without a screw-on barrel end. A converter wouldn't fit in there anyway. By the way, in the normal version I have here, the cap really can't be screwed onto the back of the barrel. Even if you remove the small cap there, the threads are different. Not only is the fountain pen great, the people behind the company are also super nice. A lot of work goes into the fountain pens. For example, even the boxes are laser engraved and many other parts are handmade. Made in Germany, more precisely made in the Black Forest, so Black Forest Pen. Many thanks to Black Forest Pen for the friendly contact, and thank you for watching. See you next time.